Welcome to Primal Facts. In this video, we will show you the ultimate guide to the power of not reacting and how to control your emotions. Why do we react in the first place? Emotions are a very important part of our lives. They have an impact on our physical, mental, and social well-being. Emotions are what we feel in response to external stimuli, such as other people's behavior, events in our lives, or the environment. They are also what we feel when we are experiencing certain situations or recalling memories. Emotions can be either positive or negative, and they can be triggered by a number of different things. When we experience an emotion, it is usually accompanied by a physical response like sweating, shaking, or feeling hot. We may also have changes in heart rate or breathing patterns along with these physical responses. The reason why we react emotionally is because the brain has two parts, the emotional and the rational parts. The emotional part is usually located in the limbic system, and it is responsible for generating emotions. The rational part often resides in the higher regions of the cerebral cortex, which is located on the outside of our brains. There are two types of emotions, basic emotions and complex emotions. Basic emotions can be paired up with specific physiological reactions like blushing, sweating, or feeling tense, while complex ones more closely resemble moods or thoughts. Some examples of basic emotions are happiness, sadness, and anger. Examples of complex emotions include anxiety, embarrassment, and shame. Emotions can be either positive or negative. The power of not reacting. Not reacting is a powerful tool that we should use to avoid getting into a heated argument. This is not a reaction to what the other person has said, but rather an acknowledgement of their feelings. This can be done by saying something like, "I understand how you feel," or "I know that this is frustrating for you." When we are faced with difficult conversations, it's important to remember that not reacting doesn't mean ignoring the other person or giving up on the conversation. It's about being able to keep our cool and maintain emotional control in order to have an honest and constructive conversation. How to control your emotions when you're angry. The ability to control one's emotions is an important skill in today's society. Anger is a natural response to many different situations, but it can lead to violence or other negative consequences. The first step in managing anger is identifying what triggers the emotion. This can be difficult because anger often manifests itself when we are not paying attention, such as when we are driving and someone cuts us off. It is important to keep track of the things that make us angry so that we can avoid them or modify our responses to them. There are many techniques for controlling anger, including deep breathing, meditation, talking with a friend or counselor, and writing down your feelings and thoughts on paper. How to control your emotions when you're sad or depressed. Depression and sadness are common and debilitating mental health conditions. They are also very serious, sometimes even life-threatening. If you feel like you are struggling with depression or sadness, it is important to know that there is always hope. There are many ways to control your emotions when you're sad or depressed, and it's crucial that you take the time to find what works for you. Here are Primal Facts 5 tips for dealing with depression and sadness. They are meant to help you gain tools for coping with these conditions. In addition, these tips are general tips for getting through tough times. 1. Exercise can increase mood and can be a great way to relieve stress and anxiety. It also promotes good sleep patterns, which may improve mood. 2. Seek professional help from a therapist, psychiatrist, counselor, or another mental health professional. Sometimes talking to someone who can provide an objective perspective helps alleviate feelings of shame and worthlessness that may lead to depression, anxiety, or isolation. 3. Stay physically active by getting out in nature and doing physical activities like hiking, biking, or swimming. Try a new sport or activity to try something new and get out of your comfort zone. 4. Develop a support network. Having people in your life who are willing to listen without judgment is an important component of mental health and well-being. 5. Nurture relationships with family members, friends, pets, or other loved ones. A lot of people find that connecting with others is a natural way to combat feelings of loneliness and isolation. There are many cases where we have to make a decision in the moment and react. However, there are also many instances where we can take a step back, think about the situation and then decide what to do. This is not always an easy choice, but it is one that will help us make better decisions in the long run. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching.